Hi, my name is Catherine, and today we are going to do a mat Pilates flow. All you will need is yourself and your Pilates ball. So let's head over to our mat and get started. I'm going to come to a seated position. If you're taller, scooch a little bit more forward towards the front edge of your mat. We're going to start with that roll down. Press your arms out ahead of you, palms pressing into the sides of your ball. Let's draw those shoulders down and away from the ears, gazes ahead. Exhale as you round and roll back, keeping your gaze forward until your head finally has to lower down to the mat. Once it does, send those arms up to the sky. Bend the elbows, bring that ball in towards your chest. Bend the knees one at a time in a parallel stance. We're going to take this ball and now place it in between our thighs. So have it right at the inner thighs, above the knees. Palms pressing at your sides into that mat. Heels on our mat. Exhale, we hinge our hips up into a bridge. And exhale to lower back down. Let's do that a few more times. So we hip lift up, hold that bridge for an inhale, and exhale to lower down. Now as you come up into that bridge, squeeze a little more tension into that ball. Feel those inner thighs turn on. Engagement in the pelvic floor as well, along with those deep core muscles. We're gonna hold this next bridge, hold it there. Weight is on our shoulder blades. Keeping the hips lifted, we pulse into that ball. Press in, in. Keep those palms pressing at your sides. Feel those triceps turn on. Hold and maintain that tension in your ball. Now we pulse those hips down and up, slow and controlled. Hold that bridge and exhale to hinge back down. Give those knees a little windshield wipe. We're moving into an articulated bridge. Unless you have any back pain or spinal conditions, then you can stick with that hinge. All right, so return to that starting position. Keep that little bit of starting tension in your ball. As we exhale, starting at the tailbone, we slowly roll and peel up off of that mat, one vertebrae at a time, until you're back at that diagonal. Hold it there. From there, we lift the right heel. Lower, lift the left heel. Keeping that pelvic stability and space between our chin and our chest. Still having good control of that ball as well. One more on each side. Option to lift both heels and lower. Hips might want to dip down for this. Keep them lifted. Let's hold those lifted heels up and pulse. That backside body nice and warmed up. For 3, 2, if you're able, keep those heels lifted, hips lifted as well. Pulse into that ball. Hello, inner thighs. For 4, 2, and 1. Hold and keep that tension in your ball. Make sure those hips are lifted and level. Lower the heels one at a time. Starting at the upper back, we slowly melt back down into that mat. Once your tailbone reaches that mat, have your arms reach ahead. Hold on to that ball at your chest. Butterfly those knees open. Get a little inner thigh stretch. All right, close the knees back in. Ball's going to go back in between our thighs for a moment. Not quite done with those inner thighs. And we're going to float those legs into tabletop. Hold that tabletop position. Feel that core turn on to stabilize. Moving into our toe taps, double leg toe taps here. We reach up and over and lift back up. Think of this movement coming from the hips rather than bending the knees. Knees do not bend any further or straighten. Think knees shift away from the hips and return directly above them. Let's do that 2 more times. I lied. 1 more time. Come back to tabletop. Now let's press into that ball. Think like you're trying to break or pop that ball with your inner thighs. Make it more like an oval. For 3 and 2. Last one. Keep that tension in your circle and lower the feet one at a time. Take that ball. We're now going to place it in between our calves. So float those legs back into tabletop. Adjust it as you need to. All right, so now it's right in between the knees, again, right at the inner calves. We're gonna curl up and forward into that forward flexion, chest lift. Hands are on top of our shins or ankles if you have the flexibility, okay? We're moving into double leg stretch. So you're looking towards that ball. Inhale, extend the arms and legs away. Exhale as they return to start. I don't have the room to circle my arms. If you do, you're gonna circle those arms as you scoop it back in. If you need to modify, lower the head and chest down and continue with that extension of your limbs. Keep tension in that ball. Last one. Scoop it all in. Lower the head and chest down and return your feet to your mat. Let's take that ball. Give the knees that little sway. All right, let's send those legs long for our teaser. Send that ball back up towards the sky, palms pressing into the sides of it. Let's retract those shoulder blades. Draw the ribs down towards the hips. Glue those legs together. We're gonna reach that ball towards the crown of our head, and then exhale as we lift up into our teaser. Hold it there. It's okay if you get a little teeter-totter. Every day is different with our teaser. Sometimes you need a moment to stabilize. Reach those arms up just an inch higher, balls reaching towards the toes, and exhale to lower back down. Reach the arms back overhead. If that doesn't feel good on your shoulders, keep the arms at 90. All right, let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale, teaser up. Hold that position. Keep those shoulders down and away from the ears. Let's pulse into that ball now. Press in. Make sure you're breathing. Now do your best to hold that upper body still and just lower the legs and lift the legs. Torso stays still. If you notice it's shifting, you may need to lessen that range of motion with your legs. Small but mighty movement. Last one. Hold that teaser. Hold their proud chest. Abduct the legs, zip them back together. Feeling those inner thighs a lot today. Last one, hold it there. Bend the knees and shift yourself forward. All right, we're gonna take a little stretch. So send those legs long. I'm just gonna scooch back a little bit. Place that ball on top of your thighs. Gazes ahead. We're just gonna roll that ball towards our feet. Take a nice forward spine stretch. Exhale, roll it back towards you. Let's do that 2 more times because it feels so nice. Roll that ball back towards you. Bend your knees one at a time. We're not going to come into a side lying position. All right, so I'm laying on my right side. Ball is ahead of me, or it can be under your ear. I'm supporting my head and neck just with my forearm here. Option to reach both legs long or bend the bottom knee for more stability. We're gonna go into those top leg lifts. Press that palm into your ball if you have it ahead of you. We want the hips and shoulders stacked, keeping that neutral spine. Core is also engaged, so be mindful to lift up through that bottom oblique. We're gonna hold this next lift of that leg and pulse it up, up. Draw little circles in one direction. Try to keep those circles the same size. Pause and reverse. Now I'm drawing those circles forward. 3, 2, 1. Hold that hover. Keep that top leg reaching at about hip height. Extend that bottom leg if you're able. Now we're gonna lift it up, heels click, and lower down. A little more inner thighs here. Feel that top oblique working to stabilize. Now let's hold that little lift and pulse that bottom leg up, up. Keep that palm pressing into the top of your ball for 3, 2, hold it there. Make sure those hips aren't rolling back. Little scissor motion. So we're gonna have the bottom leg sweep forward while the top leg sweeps back, and then they switch. Great exercise for that pelvic stability, Make your scissors smaller if you're rocking and rolling all around. Let's do one more here. Now hold that hover with both legs. Squaring my hips off, roll back a little, zip those legs together. Both legs lower and lift. Last two. Hold that lift. Press that palm into that ball and lower it all down. All right, let's give that side that we just worked a good stretch. So hold on to that ball again. I'm in my Z-sit position. I'm gonna place my right palm on top of that ball. Send the left arm out to the side and come into our mermaid. I love using the ball for this because it can really help to activate this bottom side of our body, finding that arm back connection. So as you glide that ball away, press that palm deeper into it as you pull it towards you. We're gonna hold this next mermaid, hold it there. Exhale, twist from the ribs. Stack your palms on top of the other. Slide that ball a little further away, lowering your chest down towards the mat. Pull it in an inch or so that you can untwist and lift back up tall. Feel free to take that ball with you for a counter stretch. Let's lower that ball down and set up for the other side. All right, so now I am laying down on my left side, squaring off those hips and shoulders, balls ahead of me. Starting with those top leg lifts. Keep tension in that ball if it's ahead of you, or use it to support your head and neck if that is more comfortable. Hold that lift and pulse. Up, up. 3, 2. Hold it there. Let's move into those leg circles. And reverse those circles, other direction. I'm noticing that this hip wants to sway back a little bit, so I'm just gonna make those circles a bit smaller. Do the same if you notice that as well. Now hold that reach and lift, lower that leg down just a hair, and lift the top leg and lower. Now let's hold that lift of that bottom leg, little pulses up, up. That top leg's not moving, but it is working. 3, 2, 1. Glue those legs together, both legs lower and lift. Hold that lift, separate the legs, finishing with those scissor moves. 1 sweeps forward while 1 leg sweeps back. Last 3 and 2. Last 1, reach those legs back to parallel and lower them down. Pat out that side glute if you need to and slowly come up to seat. All right, let's get into that mermaid on the other side. Left palm is pressing on top of that ball. Z-sit position with the legs, reach that right arm out to the side. We slide it away, find that lateral flexion, press into that ball as you pull it towards you. Do your best to keep that hip on the reaching side, drawing down into your mat. That top arm is reaching up and over the ear rather than ahead of us, as we don't want to round forward. We're going to hold this next mermaid. Hold that side body stretch. Exhale, rotate from the ribs. Stack the palms, glide that ball further away as you peel the chest down towards the mat. Shift it in slightly so that we can untwist, pull ourselves up to a neutral spine, and take that counter stretch. Lower that arm down, and we are going to switch positions. All right, so we are laying prone on the mat now, so go ahead and lay on your abdominals. Ball's going to be ahead of you. All right, so let's reach our arms long ahead of us. Stack the palms on top of that ball. Legs are long. You can have them close together, more adducted, or you can reach the legs wider. All right, so let's start with those swimming legs. Come narrow since I've got those risers behind me. We lift the left leg, lower, and switch. I'm in a little bit of thoracic extension here. I do have my chest peeled up off of that mat. But if it feels better for you to stay in a neutral spine, then stick with that. Focus on lifting that quad up to a hover from your mat rather than having this movement come from the shins. Legs stay long. Option to lift both legs and lower. Feel that engagement in your glutes. Lower the legs down, lower that chest down. We're moving into our swan. Make sure both hands are stacked on top of that ball. Pelvis is heavy into your mat. Arms stay straight. Inhale, pull that ball towards you as you peel that chest up off of the mat. Exhale to slide the ball away as you lower back down. Let's do that one more time. We're gonna hold this next swan and layer on here. So my right hand is on top of the ball. Lift the left arm to a hover, exhale, straight arm twist, reach for that left heel. Untwist, set that palm down, and exhale to articulate back down. You wanna pay attention to what your hips are doing here. Keep them square. Stabilize that ball. Exhale, rotate, reach, untwist, hands return, and lower down. Let's do that one more time on this side. Lower the head and chest down. Switch up your hands. So now the left hand is at the bottom, right palm is stacked on top. Start with that swan. Let's do a couple more here. Hold this next swan. Lift the right hand to a hover and twist, reach for that right heel. Untwist, place the palm down and lower down. Got a little limited room, so my arm has to slightly bend on this side. Let's do that one more time. Lower down to neutral, bend your knees, give them a little sway from side to side. And then take that ball, we're gonna place it behind us, right in between those calves again. Forearms are ahead of you, arms are bent, you can just stack the forearms on top of each other. Let's flex those feet and find tension into that ball. We're gonna widen the knees a bit and externally rotating the feet slightly. Moving into those frog heel pumps. You reach the quads to that hover again and lower them back down. Continuing to work that posterior chain, but focusing more on those glutes now. As you hover those quads, squeeze into that ball a little deeper, lower it down, and release that tension slightly. Can we hold this next lift? Hold that hover, little pulses up, up. Keep those knees bent, heels reaching towards the glutes for 3, 2, 1. Hold it there, point the feet, extend the legs, flex the feet as you bend the knees. It's that hamstring curl motion. Return to a parallel stance here with this one. If you want to challenge yourself, keep those quads hovering. Core is engaged. You can rest your forehead on the mat or on your arms if that feels better for you. We've got one more here. Feel those legs working. Reach those legs long. Squeeze tension into that ball. Let's pulse in, in. Try to pop that ball. Not actually, but feel that engagement. Last 2, 1. Little pulses with those legs, up and down an inch. Last 2, 1. Hold that hover if you can. Reach the arms out ahead of you. And lift that chest up, reach the arms. Can you lift the legs just a little higher? And lower it all down. Bend your knees, reach behind you. Give those legs that little windshield wipe motion from side to side. Come to center, I'm gonna lower my legs down, hands on the mat, shift yourself up, and let's go into a child's pose stretch with that ball. All right, so knees can go wide, slide that ball ahead of you, sink back into those hips, or those heels, hips to heels. Kind of collapse that chest down towards the mat. Slowly roll that ball towards you. Keep the spine rounded until you restock, shoulders over the hips. That is our mat flow today with our Pilates ball. I hope you enjoyed this workout. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give this video a like or comment which exercise you really enjoyed, and I will see you next time.